What's going on, everyone? So, today the Los Angeles Lakers are set to face Denver for what could be the very last time. Today's the day that the Lakers are very likely to go home. You know, based on their track record against Denver, being 0 and 11, uh, more likely than not going to happen. Now, personally, I'd like to see, some level of a fight. I'd like to see the Lakers kind of make some level of a push. Right? There is the thought, and I have the same ones of like, just pack it in, call it a season, right? Like, why prolong the inevitable? Let's just take your L, take it in stride, right? Let's get into the offseason already, start, retooling, start planning, right? Get rid of Darvin Ham, kind of figure out what you need to do. Right? Definitely got to get rid of Darvin Ham. Touch on that more in a moment, but like there is that idea. But I also kind of just like, again, just from a pride perspective, just for like a little bit of confidence and momentum going into next season, like, okay, cool, right? From a player perspective, they're not going to quit, right? There's already reports coming out that like, hey, the Lakers they're irritated. They want to get some wins. They're going to try everything they can to try to force a game 7. Like, because again, these guys are competitors, right? These guys want to win. Like the Lakers don't want to be sent home today, especially in LA. Right? So I do expect them to come out and put up some level of a fight, but Denver's just been clearly the better team. Denver's just been clearly the superior team. So it's just like there is this sense of like it's we're getting to the inevitability. Like, let's just get it over with. But I you're gonna have several guys. I'm curious to see how many, but we're gonna have several guys that are likely gonna be on this team next year. And I do think it would be good just for the team and the confidence of like, hey, right, like, all right, we were able to get that win. All right, like, we can recalibrate, keep, whatever, Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent's another guy that could potentially be on the roster next year, Christian Wood. Now we'll see if what happens with those two actually playing, but like, no, it's just it gives you the sense of like, hey, there's probably going to be a couple guys on this roster. It'd be nice to get some wins, build some confidence. Maybe those guys play nice, right? Like, get some Max Christie some minutes, let him get out there and get a little bit of a run. D'Angelo Russell, right? Like, for him, for his sake, he needs to have a good game, right? Like, regardless, I think he fumbled the bag, right? Regardless, I think like he had a real opportunity. And, he was excellent in game 2, but it's just 2 out of 3 games you're awful. And even if he does have a good game 4, right? Like, I don't think it matters. Where I think even if, like, let's say the Lakers got swept, but D'Lo gave you 15 a game on good efficiency, right? Like, I think he would have gotten himself paid. But for him, like, he needs to go out there and have a good game, right? So, there's several guys that are playing for stuff, right? Like, and you even have guys that are beyond the pride factor, right? Like, there is the pride of like, hey, let's not get swept. But there's also like the incentive from, like Rui and Reed, like, hey, I don't want to get traded. I want to stay on the Lakers, right? Like, I don't want them trading me for Trae Young or something like that. So let me go out here and ball out and show them like, hey, don't trade me in the offseason type thing. Because if we hear the rumors and we hear the murmurs and there's all the talks and conversations, like, they do too. They're aware of it. They know, right? Like, and there was even talks, DeJounte Murray at the trade deadline, right? Like, there's several guys on this roster that were like, hey, if I don't play well, right, Lakers are probably going to trade me. Even Gabe Vincent, right? He's going to probably want to go out there and go, hey, I signed with the Lakers for 3 years because I want to be here. Right? I don't want them shipping me out after the first year and I didn't even get to really play for them. Right? So, like, there's still several things at stake, in my opinion, for this Lakers team. So we'll see which team shows up. But, like, regardless, I think D'Lo's gone. Right? Like, it was a report from Brian Windhorst. Talked about it earlier today on this channel that basically D'Lo's expected to opt out. I don't really think he does that. I don't think he'll be on the Lakers next year, but I think he opts in and the Lakers trade him, whether it's to Atlanta or elsewhere, right? Orlando's a team that's been circling as a destination for him, a team that actually wants him and would like to have him on. But the teams that are going to want him are probably going to be like the middle of the pack teams, and or teams that need a point guard badly. Like I threw out the Pelicans. Right? Like Pelicans are a team that I could see like they need a playmaker, and so like could you work something out to where you swap D'Lo for like Valanciunas and something, right? Like that could be something interesting, right? Because they could use a playmaker, you could use a center, and they're probably going to lose their center. And there's also talks about like them, like they need to figure out what to do with Trey Murphy and Herbert. So like there's or sorry, Herb Jones. Well, I guess Herbert Jones. Um, but like there's not saying the Lakers are going to get either of those guys, but I'm saying they're going to have to figure stuff out. So like, and Valanciunas, they were trying to trade in the offseason. Just something that comes to mind. But nonetheless, like D'Lo's probably gone. You got to get rid of Darvin Ham regardless. The Lakers could come back, beat Denver 4 straight times, win 16 straight games, not lose a single game. Like, let's say the Lakers just magically just go on some crazy historic run, win 16 straight games, win the NBA championship, go have the parade. We're all celebrating. Life's good. And as soon as that parade's over, Lakers need to be like, congratulations, coach, on the championship. Have a good life. Good luck to you. And get rid of him. Like, again, not everything's on Darvin Ham. Right? He's not responsible for D'Lo being awful. Like, he's not responsible for a lot of the stuff. But he is responsible for a lot of things, too. Like, he's a huge part of the problem. He's not the main problem. He's not the only problem, but he's a big problem. And it's just, I just don't think he's the right guy. I'm not one that likes to blame coaches, right? I'm not one that likes to blame individuals, period. Right? Like, even the D'Lo situation, right? Like, it's not all on D'Lo, but he is a big problem. He's a big part of that. Right? And that's the thing. There's multiple layers here, but a lot of the Lakers' issues is coaching. Again, you look at the last 3 games against Denver. It's been the exact same thing. Right? Like literally, like the Lakers have had 3 straight games in which all 3 games they were up at halftime, and then all 3 games gave it away in the third quarter. Got just absolutely dominated in the third quarter. Like they're getting outscored by like 42 points in the second half in the first 3 games. They're getting outscored by like 32 in the third quarter. Like, right? Like that's coaching. That's adjustments. Right? One team is going in the locker room, and I get to an extent, like when things are working, it's kind of hard to go like, well, what do we fix? Right? Like, but one team is clearly doing something that is working and getting out into the third quarter and having the impact, and one team isn't. Right? So to me, that's partly coaching. So it's frustration levels at this point, right? But I would like to see the Lakers have some pride. There, like I mentioned, there is a big part of me that's just kind of like, let's just kind of get it over with and move on. But look, I'm always gonna root for the team. I'm always gonna go down with the ship. I'm always gonna want some level of hope and optimism. I'm always gonna have I always want to see more Lakers basketball. Like I'm not gonna like even if the Lakers do end up winning this game. Like to me, that's good in the sense of like, hey, at least we get another game. At least we get to see the Lakers again. Right now, I know some people might feel otherwise because it's frustrating. It's just like, when is today the day now? Right? Is this the game now? What's gonna happen here? Right? So I do get the like I can't take any more of this. Like I can't. We could be up 30 and I still worry about it. Right? Like. I do, but at the same breath, it's like, the players, they're not going to want to give up. They don't want it to be over. They want to fight. They want to be the first team to come back down 3-0, right? Like, there's a lot that goes into this, right? It's not as simple as like, oh, like, now just pack it in. From a fan perspective, we're like, it's over. So, like, why not just move on and be done and let's figure it out? But from a competitive standpoint and the player standpoint, they're going to want to keep fighting. And I do. I want them to, right? Like, you win game 4, right? Like, you go into game 5. Maybe you get lucky. What if game 5 is like game 2, but this time we don't give it away? Right? All of a sudden, it's 3-2 heading back to LA. you get lucky, force a game 7, take your chances. Like what I always say, just get to game 7. Again, I don't necessarily think that happens because you don't usually go from losing to a team 11 straight times to then all of a sudden being able to beat them 4 straight. Like, and especially Denver. Like, if this was, if this was pretty much anyone else, I'd probably have a little more confidence. I'd still feel like, it's probably over. Like, even if they were playing the Thunder, which I think the Lakers could sweep the Thunder if they were to play them. I don't necessarily think that they would, but like I think the Thunder is a very favorable matchup for the Lakers. But if they were down 3-0, it's like it's just probably not happening. But then you add in Denver, it's like, yeah, it's more likely than not happening. But I don't know. Again, I'd like to see a little pride. I'd like to see a little, like, hey, let's go out here and see how it goes, right? But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you want the Lakers to pull off a win? Do you think, like, just pack it in, call it a season? Let's get into the offseason, start working towards next year. How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. If you enjoy these types of videos, truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.